I've heard people call Cop Demon Hunters the movie of the summer. What that means, if it's true. Has there been a bigger movie this summer than Cop Demon Hunters? I was walking my kids to jiu-jitsu the other day, and guess what I heard blasting from somebody's car? You guessed it. Music from Cop Demon Hunters. In fact, ever since it debuted back in June, the much-beloved animated feature has basically been inescapable. Not only that, but I've even heard people call it the movie of the summer, which makes sense, since people are pretty much obsessed with it. However, if that's true, and Cop Demon Hunters is the movie of the summer, then what does that mean for both Netflix and the movie industry as a whole? Well, let's talk. Perhaps Netflix should consider theatrical wide releases for animation before bringing them to the streaming platform. Cop Demon Hunters will have its time in the theater, as there's a sing-along event on August 23 and 24. But it just begs the question, why wasn't it in theaters in the first place? I mean, I doubt Netflix realized what a megaton smash they had on their hands when they acquired the movie from Sony, as it's now the biggest animated feature the streamer has ever had. But didn't they hear that amazing soundtrack before releasing it to streaming? Didn't they see that gorgeous animation? I think after seeing the success of KPDH, perhaps Netflix should consider putting their next big animated feature in theaters, and then having it come to the platform later, with rabid anticipation. Just think of Disney Plus, and how they've been releasing movies to theaters, and then bringing them home to the streaming platform. You want more subscribers, Netflix. Put a blockbuster animated feature in theaters that everybody's talking about, and then have it come only to Netflix. Food for thought. It also means that streaming continues to make inroads in connecting more with younger audiences. It would be silly to say that only kids like this film, as most of the people I've talked to who have called it the movie of the summer are grown-ass adults. Granted, some of those adults are parents. Be that as it may, kids have also fallen in love with the movie. My daughter, for instance, has watched the film at least 10 times, and all of her friends have likely watched it just as many. Plus, I don't think my daughter has ever been more into Netflix than she is right now. For example, when my family went to Baltimore recently, we stayed at an Airbnb, and my daughter was elated to learn that the TV had the service so that she could watch KPD8 for the umpteenth time, which might not be good for the industry as a whole. My daughter has turned down every opportunity to go to the theater this summer, as she just wanted to rewatch this animated feature at home. I think a lot of kids who grew up in the COVID era likely view streaming services as the place to watch new movies. That's great news for Netflix, but maybe not the best news for movie theaters. Netflix should keep pushing on reaching international markets. Sony Pictures Animation produced Cop Demon Hunters and then sold the rights to Netflix. That's probably one of the biggest blunders on Sony's part. Well, besides making us wait so long for Spider-Man, Beyond the Spider-Verse, and one of the streamer's biggest gains. That said, I think Netflix has seen that reaching out for large international markets can pay off big time. K-pop is a global phenomenon, and a movie that plays off of both the musical genre and K-dramas has been ultra successful. So, the service should maybe be on the lookout for even more diverse content. I'm not saying that they should only look for things that can play to international markets, but I think we've seen, first with Squid Game, and now with Cop Demon Hunters, that embracing other cultures is a net positive. There is a market for it, and possibly a massive one, and perhaps Netflix should be on the lookout for more diversity. But what do you think? I'd love to hear your thoughts.